Hello and good morning. It's Friday the 6th of May. It's give or take 9 a.m. here in the UK. Welcome. My name is Steve Pugh, and if we don't know each other, every Friday morning I do a live stream here on LinkedIn and Twitch and Twitter and YouTube and Facebook and lots of other kind of stuff. And basically what we do is that we talk about business and entrepreneurship type stuff. We talk about concepts which might hopefully help you in your business or career. This is actually all part of something called a Roadmap MBA, which you've probably seen me kind of talk about. It's a real world business course which teaches you the real world skills to help grow your business or career. That actually often it's very difficult to learn literally from start to finish how to grow a business, both from setting your aims and goals through business strategy, personal branding, marketing, sales, management, leadership, and even finance. And what we wanted to do is basically bring this to the world in a single format that I don't believe has kind of been done before. But then likewise, our mission is also making business education accessible. That I'm someone that actually quite likes to read. I have no problem kind of chomping through really kind of boring textbooks, but a lot of people don't. So what we like to do is break down all of the concepts into a book, but actually it's more like a magazine. So we really kind of help you learn in kind of 2 minutes or 2 hours and make stuff super simple. But we also do podcasts and live streams, and we record videos for all the stuff. And basically, if you're interested, you can check out roadmapmba.com. And one of the big kind of pivots that we're doing, and we're kind of going through the process now, is that we've got a new website coming and an app coming towards the end of the year. And what we're planning to do is make business education accessible, but to anyone in the world, where basically you'll get access to, should you wish, all of the pre-recorded materials, both, everything, completely for free, worldwide for anyone. And that's kind of really important to me, to really kind of help people that otherwise wouldn't have access to business education. Traditionally, it's incredibly expensive, but actually there's a lot of barriers and hurdles that kind of hold people back too as well. One is time. So even if you have the cash to go and do a full-time MBA, often people have to work, or you've got family commitments, so it's very difficult. Or to go through a single 500-page strategy book can take quite a long time. But the truth is, if you really kind of want to grow your business or career and actually build a really good broad skill set, the truth is one book isn't enough. You kind of need 50-ish, and a lot of expertise over your career to really help you build that skill set that you need. So what we try and do is make that all super simple. If a big concept can be articulated in 10 words, we do it. And as part of that kind of process, when we acknowledge that a lot of people don't want to just learn through reading, they want to interact, they want to hear people talk about it. Part of the reason is that we do the live stream is that I pick up stuff as a management consultant, which is kind of my day job. And I talk about stuff which has happened this week, and then actually just pick out a few different concepts that hopefully might be of interest. These all get clipped up on going to YouTube. So if you search for Steve Pugh Roadmap MBA, hopefully you'll find me. And then likewise, if you comment in the chat as well, it should pop up on the screen as well. I love it when people kind of get in touch. I love it when you say hello from wherever you're watching in the world. And the roadmap is in 28 different countries now, which is fantastic. So we purposely try and pick time zones and stuff for our classroom sessions, which are accessible to everyone. The classroom sessions are drop-in sessions. So what that means is that any of you, for any of the 4 sessions that we do a week, which in UK time is 3 p.m. Tuesdays, 8 p.m. Tuesdays, 7 a.m. Thursdays, and then midday Fridays. That's 12 p.m. Fridays. We do it on Zoom. All of the links to join are either in our social media or on the front page of the website. And it's a drop-in session where you can just join, have a chat, ask about stuff that's going on in your business. How can you do a new marketing campaign, and really kind of tackle the things that you deal with. And at least at the moment, they're completely free. And then as we kind of build the model, and the freemium model we're kind of going to go for, is that all of the pre-recorded stuff is completely free. But actually, if you want kind of my time or the time of the team to really work through the course and have that literal one-to-one or one-to kind of classroom feedback, that is what will be the kind of paid option. And it'll look and feel the same as this. So we've got the Bosch camera slider, we've got the lighting, we've got the setup and that kind of thing as well. But the point is, that's how it works. But genuinely, if you're interested in maybe finding out more, get in touch. I will happily send you a completely free course. We send them all over the world. And a major driver for us at the moment is just actually starting to get feedback, and basically we're building on the product. We're improving how we do things, improving the way that we communicate things, and actually so there is no catch, there's no agenda. if you're interested just to kind of take a look, please reach out. I will happily send you one in the post. And it's part of that kind of bigger journey that we have an ambition to help 5 billion people, or at least have it accessible to 5 billion people. That a lot of people aren't bothered about, business education. It's just not really their thing, which is cool. But the point is, if they want to access it, they can. Because one of my big things as well is that in the UK, I advertise in something called Freelancer Magazine. So this is issue 5, which arrived for me on Monday or Tuesday. But a lot of people who run a small business or have ambitions to start a small business, admittedly, don't make any money. And whilst that is common for a lot of people, what I really hate is that the skills and stuff that you need to learn to really help you build a successful business are trapped behind really expensive paywalls. Or one of the big things that I've discovered as I've been on my own journey is that even if you go on to Udemy or Coursera or any of the big kind of online learning platforms, I think Udemy literally has 185,000 different courses that you can do, all paid, all different tiers. But the point is, where do you know where to start? Where do you know actually what you need? How do you know that you won't do 184,000 courses that are all wrong for you and miss the good ones? So one of the things that we purposely try and do is give you the complete roadmap, start to finish, on everything you need to know, kind of nothing you don't. And then likewise, if you ever want to deep dive into more detailed strategy and more detailed sales, you can, and you can kind of do that in your own time. But at least in terms of a good solid baseline across your breadth of career, especially in smaller businesses, but the truth is it's kind of for everyone. Yeah, that's kind of what we do. So what is it, 9:07 now? This is genuinely live from here in the UK. My name's Steve. I live near Newcastle, and then I spend most of my week doing stuff for other people. As a management consultant, I help different companies do stuff, and almost because of that, what we try and do again is bring that real world learning for helping companies float on the stock market or work in the offshore renewables space or whichever, and really bring it to the audience where I talk about genuinely real stuff that I'm kind of working on that hopefully is of interest. But yes, please, if you ever catch any of this, even if it's only for 2 minutes, just send me a like or send me a comment, and that would be much kind of appreciated. Okay. My interviews, we had a bank holiday here in England on Monday, so I didn't do one on Monday. My next one is actually going to be Tuesday next week to account for Lee, but I'm speaking to Lee Flanagan. And we're going to have a really good kind of conversation at 4 p.m. on Tuesday. And Lee is actually very, very good at social media, but we're going to talk about his business, his background, some of the challenges that he's kind of been through, mental health, why it's important, personal branding, sales. And if you're around, check it out. You'll probably hopefully see it pop up on your feed. Again, it all gets clipped up to go to YouTube. But I like people, I like talking to people that are genuinely kind of open and honest about their journey. And then likewise, I genuinely enjoy talking to people as well. So it's always that kind of thing that I try and, build on the podcast and do it every so often. And I'd love it if you kind of join us. And then likewise, Sophie Cross from Freelancer was last week's, which is available on YouTube as well. Okay, so the 3 topics which I'm going to talk about today. First one is finding confidence in yourself. This I think is really important, and I've got friends who have different talks and stuff coming up, and actually they wanted to kind of, get some advice, and do they speak to a coach or do they not speak to a coach, and what do they do? So I'm going to kind of talk about that. One is going to be, I'm actually going to talk about how and why it's important to ask for advice. This is something that I don't think people do enough. I'm starting to get better at it, but almost that if you have a challenge or something that you're looking to do, there's people you can ask and you're probably already connected with them. But the point is, the importance to kind of do that. And I'm going to share some of the stuff that I've kind of been working on. And then last but not least, I'm going to talk about finding your tone of voice as an organization. So what's really interesting is that whenever you do your social media or your live streams or your podcasts or none of it, because you don't want to do that, the way that you communicate is really important, because that tells you so much about the organization that as someone that does other people's marketing for them, you always have to talk in the voice of that organization, and that changes. And likewise, the more you get to know different people and different businesses, the way that they speak changes. And I'm going to talk about how you kind of tease that out and stuff as well. So I'm going to have a very quick cup of tea. It's 10 minutes past 9. If you've got any comments, questions, anything, please feel free to get in touch. And then likewise, you'll probably see it pop up, I think, here. Basically, we've got a competition to win 2 tickets to Ed Sheeran. He's playing in Sunderland, which is about 15 minutes from here, in June. Yeah, we've got 2 free tickets. So basically anyone that follows any of the Roadmap channels, so it's at Roadmap MBA on LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, or Instagram, and you get put in for the draw to win those tickets. Cool. Okay. So how's everyone's week been? I found it quite funny actually that with the bank holiday, it's been great in some ways because it meant that we've actually kind of got some extra time off when you know that you're a lot less likely to have emails and stuff coming in, which, you know, it is what it is. But I've kind of really benefited from it. I think, to be honest, I'm one of these people that I don't really take time off. So actually that was kind of quite nice. And I've got some holidays coming up in June, so there'll be no live streams or podcasts then. But I'd love to know how you've kind of found this week as well. Hopefully it's been quite a short week for everyone. Okay. So the first topic I wanted to talk about today is about finding confidence. One of the main issues that people suffer with in business or in their career is actually self-belief, confidence, and almost imposter syndrome, because it's very easy to kind of go through and believe that, why should anyone believe me? Do I know it well enough? Will people trust me? Why me? Should I give up? I'll just let other people do it. Will they take me seriously? There's a lot of stuff that kind of goes into kind of, you know, having confidence in kind of what you do. A friend reached out to me on Wednesday actually and said that he has a speech coming up, and actually he wants to do a good job, and, you know, it's nervous, it is scary to stand up in front of people and kind of talk. And did I have any kind of tips or advice? And the one thing that kind of came through is that, you know, you should always ask, okay, what is it? What's the venue? What's it about? What's the topic? But the one thing that I almost kind of said to him is that for any kind of speech or whichever, but also true for any business, if you're asked to speak on a certain topic, I'll pick mental health, but it could be anything. It can always be difficult. And the irony is that the further you go through your career and the more you actually learn on the topic, the more you actually start to second guess yourself, because you actually know what you don't know, if that makes sense. It's often the fool or the younger person who's less experienced, who assumes that they know everything about the topic, has the confidence to then go out and smash a talk, when actually they're almost kind of doing it out of ignorance. You know, and it's that balance of where, ironically, the better people, the more skilled people on different topics actually often are more likely to be the ones with the, you know, lack of confidence, which is funny. But the one thing that I, you know, almost twigged that I wanted to kind of mention it, is that you know you and you know your story better than anyone else. So as long as you focus on your truth and your background and your story, and you speak from that place, nobody in the world knows that better than you. So as long as you're authentically yourself in how you communicate and what you choose to kind of talk about, it doesn't matter if someone else technically knows more or someone else has a different opinion. As long as you're speaking from you and you speak your truth and what is important to you, that's all that matters. So speak. And the big thing I think for me with the roadmap is the fact that with growing up, you know, I almost didn't go to uni just because it was expensive then. Now it's even more expensive. That almost, you know, regardless of talent and ability, there are a lot of barriers for stuff, and business education is one of them. So the big thing for me is that I've been there, and it wasn't that long ago that I would have dreamt to have done a proper MBA and done various different things because I wanted to learn and develop in my career. But the truth is, it was out of reach. It was too expensive. You become too busy with your lifestyle. There's loads of different factors. So the thing is, for me, my kind of truth is that I've been there. I have that lived experience. That's the place where I bring this from, is that when I go through my career, and luckily I am quite good at stuff, having been able to read all the theory but actually implement it, and implement it with lots of different companies, and learn the failings and learn what works and what doesn't work, and also because I'm quite good at a broad range of things, my whole essence of what I'm trying to do is based on my experience and what I'm trying to bring to the world and why, if that makes sense. So yes, there will be much better subject matter experts on particular things, but my understanding of that target customer, which is arguably me from a while back, I have complete faith in, because I kind of get it. And the more people I speak to, they seem to get it as well. But the point is that is also true for you. So if you used to be in the armed forces and then you went into civilian life and you started to work in various different bits, I don't know what that's like. So being able to share your story about that kind of thing is, that's the value. The point is it's yours, not just an academic paper regurgitation of other people's kind of ideas. In terms of a speech, because actually I know that's something that people really kind of worry about. One of the points that I kind of made, and you soon realize when you do live streams, because it's 9:15 already, how quickly time can go when you actually kind of do them. So we said, look, imagine it's a 10-minute speech. For one, delivering a good 10-minute talk is so much better than an average 20-minute talk. If you can ever do it quicker, do it. Just snap through it, get your points. But the point was, imagine it was a 10-minute talk. If you then break that 10-minute talk down into maybe 5 2-minute segments, where basically you would have bullet points, 2 minutes each, that often, especially when you present, you don't want to read from a piece of paper. You actually want to have practiced and rehearsed. But actually, if you have different bullet points that you just use as your cue, your introduction, what you're going to talk about, why it's important to you, your lived experience, what you learned from it, and then a summary of the talk, for instance. It's very easy. It's harder to keep to time, but the point is if you're worried about filling time, but actually just do the bullet points, but keep it simple and actually work out what exactly it is that you wanted to say. And then actually very quickly, you can start to hopefully have confidence that when you go on stage at an event or a talk or a live stream or a podcast, you don't have to worry about being the best in the world at what you do because it's not an exam. All you have to do is have confidence is to talk openly about your kind of lived experience. And it's my belief that that is a great way to find confidence in whatever you do, whatever your challenges are, that even if you want to go for a promotion and you have complete faith that you can do a marketing manager's job or a marketing director's job or anything, whatever you wish, kind of go for it and just believe in yourself. That actually, as long as you're honest with yourself, if it turns out that someone better and more qualified got the job, that's fair enough. But it's that balance of just, you better than anyone else. And I just thought it was an interesting topic to kind of talk about. I'd love to know in the comments, have you ever either struggled with confidence or is there anything you've kind of found really works for you? If this is on YouTube, please kind of like and subscribe. It really kind of helps. And also comment below. I will always kind of respond as well. Okay. A very quick drink of tea. Okay. So one of the big things I think for almost anyone's kind of career or business is actually we all go on a journey, and I mean everyone. I don't mean just, it's not like you magically know everything when you get to 40 or 50. And actually, as we kind of go through, if you're kind of pushing yourself and you're starting to learn and develop and kind of, build on whatever it is that you've done before, you're always going to come across stuff that you just don't know or you haven't done before. And one of the best pieces of advice that I've seen a lot of people do, a guy I used to work with called Charlie Sylvan that now owns a property business called Capstone Fox, first kind of mentioned it, that being able to actually reach out to people and just ask for a little bit of advice, even if it's a 20-minute call, can be so valuable in terms of helping you figure out what to do. And I don't think people do it enough. With the roadmap, one of the big things that we're looking to do is that, although in the past I've worked in businesses that have raised finance and we've floated on the stock market and we've done all this kind of stuff, when it is your own baby, it's a completely different ball game. It's, there's a lot more to consider. The risk is arguably on your shoulders and the approach, and likewise, because every different environment is different to you or me or whoever, it is really important to kind of find your feet. So one of the things I've been doing, I had a really great chat with a chap called Toby yesterday, was that I've been speaking to people who have raised venture capital finance or different other types of finance, just to kind of pick their brains. How did they do it? What was the process? Do they have any tips? Do they have any advice? If they were to do it again, would they change it? Would they not change it? But what's so important is actually, and I'll name check Angelina as well from the Northeast Scale Up program. But actually having someone independent to talk to that's kind of been there and done it, even if, they're much younger than you are or they're of a different background, it can spark ideas to really help you kind of do that. And I'm, an independent man and I often kind of charge ahead with my own ideas, but I have found it super useful. But one of the things that came up in conversation with Toby yesterday is that actually, for one, people don't do it enough, but especially if there's some sort of link there. So you're a connection of mine or you're a connection of my friends or whichever. If you were to reach out and say, hi Steve, I'm thinking about starting a new startup that is a pen business. Where do you think I should get started? This is the idea, but I'm a bit stuck. I'd almost guarantee that that person's probably going to help you or at least pointing you in the right direction. But you never know where it's going to lead to. And often, we're all kind of in this together. The stuff that I need to know. And again, Toby came up with some really good points yesterday that I hadn't even thought of that I've now already implemented. And it's that constant improvement that for any good career professional or business owner, if you assume that you know everything, you kind of probably set yourself up to fail. Is there actually just that open mind to say, look, we want to launch a new product in India, but I don't really understand the Indian market. Rather than just assuming that you know it all and whatever, ask someone, ask a friend, what's new, how does it work, what are the trends, what do you have to consider, what are the taxes, stuff on logistics or customs import duties or whichever. But it's that kind of thing of actually reach out and ask. And I almost guarantee that people generally try and help you. And I think that's also true in social media, that historically, almost in a nepotism kind of way, when people talk about the value in alumni at universities, it's because I went to Sheffield, if someone said to me, oh, Steve, I'm at Sheffield University right now and I want to do this, can you help me out? Because we have that kind of joint background, I guess. Often, you are willing to kind of help them out and whatever. But the same is true online, that people could watch this in Mumbai or Jakarta, and I would have no problem if someone actually reached out and said, hi Steve, I'm thinking about starting a new business to do a tech company, to do a new type of social media app, but I'm a bit stuck on this area, can you help? I probably would. And I think the same is true for everyone, that no matter when or whatever it is that you're struggling with, you're not expected to know all the answers, and I certainly don't. But actually use people if there's something that you're kind of struggling with at the moment, or you just, really appreciate a little bit of extra advice or guidance, or you tried something and it's not quite working. Ask, and hopefully you never know where it kind of might lead, but I have faith that it'll lead to kind of good things. And likewise, if I can ever help as well, if you're on your own career or business journey and you would like a free copy of the roadmap, please honestly reach out anywhere in the world and I'll happily send you a free copy. And it's about trying to raise awareness and really trying to help build up the community to help you achieve whatever it is that you want to do. And that's my mission, that's what I want to kind of devote my life to. But never be afraid to ask. And yes, there we go. Have a quick drink. So it's 9:23. And last but not least, so one of the really important things that I think most people kind of get now is that if you have a business or a brand or whichever, it's both what people kind of see and think about you, but actually there's so much that you can do to control what you put out into the world. There's the visuals in terms of the photography that you pick, your cameras, your, what you write, all that kind of stuff. You've got your website, you've got the stuff that you comment on, so actually the circles that you interact in and the communities that you kind of help nurture and work on, that kind of thing. But the truth is, for every different business, you all have different aims and goals, that it's really important to find what we call tone of voice. And basically, if you don't know what that means, that's essentially, it's one way to communicate who you are. So one of the things why that's important is that if you are a very cool streetwear brand, you will communicate very differently to a insurance provider. So an insurance provider might be very to the point, very factual, very legalistic in its text, and even probably in the font it uses and how it communicates its message. If you're a cool streetwear brand, you might use more common speak and tech speak or whatever. I'm old now, so I don't know. But the point is, the way that you communicate will be different. It could be in Snapchat stories, it could be in lots of kind of different stuff. But what's interesting and why it's important is that everything we're talking about is about how you can be authentically you. And that's essentially what people buy into. So it's authenticity. And the reason why that's a challenge is that in my day job as a management consultant, when people hire me to do stuff, a lot of stuff that I work on is marketing and sales strategy. And one of my companies, and I'll name check them, called Time to Act PLC. Basically, we're planning to float on the stock market later in the year. The guy, Chris Hemingway, who basically is the executive chairman, is former MD of Lehman Brothers. Rarely top chat, but he's a lawyer by trade. And we had a chat just yesterday about how the text and the language that we use as a company and how and why we want to do it a certain way. And what was fascinating is that how that was different to the way I do my own stuff, which obviously I do naturally. And then one of my other companies is a company called Westray Recruitment, which is a fantastic business, but we purposely go in the more relaxed style. But with Westray, I've worked with the guys for almost like 2 years now. So when I write all their content and their copy and their stuff, I know exactly what to say and not say, that I can almost be that brand as we put that out into the world, and what images we choose and how we want to look, and to say, what is the message? How do they want to communicate it? Because basically certain people want it very short and snappy and factual. And it's how you kind of do this, but even to do with the imagery that you pick. So for instance, for a clean tech business like Time to Act, you could go the environmental route to use lots of rainforests and turtles and lots of kind of different stuff. But actually that might not necessarily resonate with the exact core audience of the people that you want, who for that particular business would be investors who want to invest in the clean tech space, where actually they want to see ESG related clean tech businesses, but with the industrial twist. And what we're starting to do is start to hone down on both what you do and also what you not do. So tick and cross. Yeah, so what you do and also what you don't do is equally as important, because any business, you would never get that really posh, stuffy insurance firm talking about a skate park and some new apparel or whatever, the X Games. And the point is almost down to how you run your Twitter accounts and the causes that you might retweet or support. It's really important from a business point to really kind of understand what is it that you want to do and be seen with and occupy in terms of the space that you kind of relate to and build your community. But then likewise, what do you also not do, that although it still might fit into the sphere of clean tech and the environment, not to get lost too much in going the environmental route to do with deforestation, if it doesn't align with the mission, to lose focus. Does that make sense? So it's not that it's not important to you, but it's almost your tone of voice is the way that you communicate, what you communicate, how you do it. But then likewise within your kind of wider brand, the stuff that you associate with and get involved with and stuff is really kind of important. It's something that I was literally doing yesterday. I just thought it might have been interesting to kind of, talk about. And that also includes like the grammar that you use and how many commas that you use and lots of kind of different stuff as well, which again is different for different people. But yes, that's cool. At 9:29, I'm going to try and keep these to half an hour now, just for kind of moving forward. It kind of works for me. I've got Ashley King when she comes back from holiday, I think next Tuesday, doing her next live stream. I've got Lee's podcast interview coming up as well, which I'm really looking forward to. And then hopefully lots of other exciting stuff between now and kind of June, when I actually go away myself, which I'm looking forward to, just have a break. Have a wonderful Friday, have a wonderful weekend. Good luck to kind of get through the next 8 hours. If I can ever do anything to help, or you would just like a free copy of the roadmap just to kind of check it out, please reach out. We do have guest list at roadmapmba.com. Anyone in the world can get a completely free copy, and I genuinely believe it's good stuff. And this is just almost part of our journey, that realistically the next year is starting to get the word out, start to build momentum and traction. That's why there's no agenda or that kind of thing. It's part of a bigger goal that I'm trying to achieve. Yeah, thank you for your time. Have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you soon. All right, cheers guys. Thank you. Bye bye.